Hey everybody, how are we all doing? I am Draconic. Welcome to another video, and today we are looking at ways to improve my Let's Test series. For those of you who don't know what Let's Test is, it's probably my most successful series on my channel. I look at different types of indie games by different developers and I kind of test them, see the goods, see the bads, see anything that's kind of unique, and most of the time I really just enjoy the games that I play, which I find really cool about indie games because you never know what you're going to expect, and there's always that little bit of something unique, or maybe something like old that's blast from the past, something like that, that really just make the game a ton of fun to play. So I'm just looking at my channel just now, and if you look at, these are all of the videos that are the top views on my channel, and if you see here, Let's Test, Let's Test, Let's Test, Let's Test. This is a Let's Play, but it's really more of an indie game as well. You'll notice some Let's Plays here like ZD Ghost Toys. There's one and there's two there. There's another Let's Test. Let's Test. Well, surprisingly, Gladiator Blades of Fury made that 4 months ago. 376 views. That does not sound a lot, but it really is quite a lot to me if you think about it. There's another Let's Test there. Crypt of the Serpent King, one of my most successful and just nearly there in the top 5. Started off as a Let's Test video, and you guys really enjoyed it all those years ago, and it became a full Let's Play. This was the last Let's Play that I ever did, but keep scrolling down, you get the idea. There's Let's Tests just about everywhere. Test, test, test. So you guys pretty much get the point. Let's Test is one of my best series on the channel, and we need to have a way of improving it. Not only just for a kind of Let's Play style, but also to look at it for a more analysing kind of approach. So here is how I've broken things down. Let's Test, as you may know it if you've watched some of the videos before in the past, it's about 10-15 minutes I play the game, I give a kind of mini review, and I'm kind of doing like a kind of commentary as I'm playing the game. During that time I kind of less analyse and kind of improvising along the way, and that way it just kind of, I don't really get everything that I'm looking for. There's still bits and pieces of the game that I would really like to find out. The idea that I've got here is full test, which is going to be about an hour that I'll play the game, and I won't be making any kind of commentary or anything like that. It won't be a Let's Play feel, but I'll still be recording the gameplay. I'll play the game for about an hour roughly, and then I'm going to review my thoughts on it, and when I do it I'm going to be providing a voiceover which I think is going to be a lot more professional, and I'll be able to get a better idea of how the game feels, and rather than not giving it that Let's Play feel. So when I'm doing these kind of videos, I'm going to put it into 5 different categories. We've got about, quality, gameplay, game flow, and negatives. Each of these are going to have their own unique subcategories as well that kind of splits them apart from the rest of them. The first category is about. What is the game about? What kind of game is it? Like, is it a shooter? Is it a multiplayer game? Is it a massive multiplayer online shooter trading card game? Those are the things you guys need to know about. And then you also want to know what kind of game it is and how much it's going to cost. How big is the download of this game? So of course I'll provide you the pounds and dollars of it. There's also different types of features, as I might have mentioned, the multiplayer, and maybe if it's just for PC or Xbox, maybe you can get it on PS4, maybe Nintendo, or any unique features that kind of separate it from everything else. As I might have mentioned, a massive multiplayer online trading card game. Just imagine the chaos that would have been. The next category we would be looking at is the quality. So when we're looking at quality, we're kind of looking at the graphics and design. How everything is kind of, is everything beautiful? Is everything just going to be absolutely awesome? Now, this is going to be a tricky category because you can look at something as awesome, for example, as Skyrim, where the distance and the mountains and everything is absolutely beautiful. But you may also look at games like Minecraft, where it's all just like all pixelated, something like that. These are things you need to take a little bit of consideration for as well. Skyrim could have some really good things, but it can also have some very bad things, and Minecraft could have like the complete opposite. The graphics might not be as good, but Minecraft could be a lot more creative, if that's the best way to put it. Music and sound effects. This is actually a very important one, believe it or not. You want to play a game, you want to have some of the best emotional music you can, and you also want to have a bunch of good sound effects as well. Like even when you're firing your assault rifle in Halo 3, not so happy with the assault rifle in that, but when you went into Halo Reach, oh my goodness, the assault rifle in that sounded absolutely brilliant. And in Halo ODST, when you're just a lone survivor just looking for your squads, the music in that is just absolutely beautiful. It's funny how you can look at graphics and the music, and both are beautiful in their own kind of way. Last but not least, we're looking at the quality. So these are the characters or the NPCs themselves. When I say characters, they could be like story related, or they could be like enemies or just people around you, how well graphic they are, what kind of story do they have. Same story with NPCs as well, like non-playable characters for those of you who don't know. That's going to wrap it up for quality. Next category is gameplay. Gameplay, this is where we actually play the game itself. Gameplay, makes sense, right? Controls, they're important because when you're on your controller, you want to make sure that you've got the best way to play it. Does the A button allow you to jump? Does the X button allow you to open your inventory? Right trigger, make sure that's how you shoot and not like the joystick, for example. You need to take these things into consideration. Enemies. Now this is a very important one as well. You want to know what kind of enemies you're fighting. Are they going to be shooting at you and just be nearly impossible to kill, or are they just going to go and walk into a wall and spend the last 20 minutes trying to back off? You want to make sure that these guys know exactly what they're doing, and even then you want to know what kind of enemies you're fighting. Are they going to be shooting at you? Are they going to be turrets in a stationary position? Are they going to be a pack of wolves that are just going to bombard you and raid you or something like that? Weapons, tools and items. Now this category is very important as well. Just like the controls and the enemies, you want to make sure that your gameplay has got the correct tools to do the job. When you're playing a shooter, you want to make sure your weapon is going to be good, and when you're shooting it's actually very accurate. When you got the reticle in the middle of your screen, and when you fire it's not going to go and do a 360 off the wall headshot. Unless you want it to. Tools and items are very important as well. You want to make sure that they're all accurate and good to do the job that you want as part of your gameplay. Game flow. Now this is very interesting. This is from start to finish. This is really how to play the game up until the point where you're facing the final boss. How to play in tutorial, you just want to make sure that you get into the game, you know what you're doing, the game is telling you, oh, A is to jump, by the way, and you press the RT button, that's how you shoot. You want to know how to play the game, and the game needs to try and teach you how to do that before you're going off and slaying about 10 enemies in one room, or 100, up to yourself. Story and or is it still fun to play? Now this is a weird category. To be honest, this is about two categories put into one here. Story, probably the most important part of any game. You want to make sure that you, as a player, want to get immersed in the game and enjoy exactly what you're playing. You want to get to know the characters, get to know the story, the lore and everything behind the game, and just get behind it and just absolutely enjoy it. Now, if a game doesn't have a story, for example, a game like Tetris, is it still fun to play? There is a game that came out not too long ago called Tetris 99, where there's no story to it, apart from probably some people in the studio, or it's got a history anyway. Anyway, the point is, that game, while I haven't played it, looks a lot of fun to play. 99 people all fighting against each other in a game of Tetris. Yeah, sounds like a crazy bunch of fun. I've seen a bunch of streamers do it, and I've seen a bunch of people on YouTube play it, and they're all having a lot of fun. It's always a bit of a close call as well. Balance. Balance. Balance, balance, balance. When you're playing the game, you want to make sure you're playing the game and you're at a steady level. When you're upgrading your skills, you don't get anything overpowered or underpowered. You also want to make sure that your money or your gold income is at a reasonable level. So when you go out to buy better weapons or maybe a shields and armor, you want to make sure that you're getting okay amounts. And then at some point when you're getting closer to the end of the game, you start to get even better stuff. You need to have that right amount of balance, and maybe even doing some side quests can reward you with much better levels as you level up, and more better gold and armor and all that nonsense. But you get the idea. It needs to be balanced, and you don't need to start the game overpowered and you're ready to actually beat the final boss. Now, I don't know who you are watching, but if there's something you need to understand, is that every single game has some form of bug or a glitch in it. These are things that are not intentional by the developers, but without proper testing, they can really ruin the game. And I would know, having gone down the lines of tech support and software testing before in the past during my times in work, so I know exactly what I'm talking about here. When you're testing a game, you want to make sure that it's absolutely brilliant and it's good to go. When thousands, millions of people play the game, you want to make sure that it's good for them and you're not going to have any bugs and glitches. Here's a little example for you guys. When Mass Effect Andromeda came out, I thought it was going to be absolutely brilliant and one of the best games I've ever played. But the game had so many bugs and glitches, even the visual effects were terrible. I enjoyed the game, I loved it, it was brilliant. But there was a lot of people who didn't like it and solely down on the bugs and the glitches. But the thing is, you can't base a game just on the bugs and the glitches on their own. Game exploits. Now, briefly going back here again, balance. This is something that the developer would have to try to balance about the game to make sure that you start low tier and then work your way up to a high tier and ready to face the boss. Game exploits are intentional uses of just yourself going out to get the highest level possible so you can just punch the final boss and he'd die. That's it. That's basically it. Any way to exploit the game, to make it easy on yourself, it's just, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Okay, you've completed the game first time, fair enough, I can understand if you're doing it for a bit of fun, but if you're doing it for the first time, you see this exploit, why? Just why? Why would you do something like that? Play the game, for crying out loud. I'm ranting in this topic, I will have to admit. Is the game easy to understand? Very, very important, this one. When you play the game, you need to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Are you playing Dark Souls where you're going to die just about every 5 minutes? Or you're playing a game that's just, hey ho, you die, or you just have your Pokemon faint, just go to a Pokemon Center, just try again. These are the kind of things you need to take into consideration as well. Is the game easy to understand? And I guess having a good tutorial would be a good way to put it as well. This brings us on to the final review. The 5 categories are going to get a final score, and that's going to be from 1 to 10. 10 of course being the best and 1 being the worst. Now, when these 5 categories get their own score, they're going to be averaged out, and that is going to be the final score that I would give that game. Now, I will not stress this one enough, but when I review the game, it is all my personal opinion. So I don't care if someone really enjoyed the game or someone really hated the game. This is my personal opinion on the game. And I've reviewed the entire game on how I feel about it. Now, I take everything into consideration as well, so if you want to check out the game, even purchase it yourself, I've at least given you the information to at least let you guys know exactly what you're getting yourselves into. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you found this video absolutely brilliant. I had a lot of fun. It actually sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun to edit, and I cannot wait to share this with you guys. But that's everything, and at least when I make these videos, I'll be glad in knowing that I've shared with you guys a lot of information about these games, that I've made the sacrifice paying for a 40 quid game, only to find out that the only button you can press is a jump button. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys for the next one. Alright, let's put this let's test into testing and test and see if it's going to be a really good test. Let's test.